You know, the two most beautiful, most exquisite qualities that serve as an antidote to the kind of fixated mind that is obsessed with its own ideas and imagination, obsessed with enlightenment, arrogant and, absorbed, projecting, all of these kind of things. The greatest two qualities that I have ever touched, known, felt are humility and tenderness. Humility and tenderness restore our innocence. They restore us to an integrity. And if they've never touched you, or you've never known them, then you're missing something. There's something is being missed. Something, that touches the delicate fabric of the universe, the delicate fabric, the texture of our humanity on ever deeper levels. And those who, on the spiritual path, who've never really been touched or touched for themselves, humility and tenderness, tend towards a dryness that is incomplete in so many ways. If you don't arrive at tenderness, if you don't arrive at humility, there's still somewhere to go, as far as I can see. And I'm in love with them. I think, they're the antidote to the ills of man. They're the antidote to the ills of the self. They're the antidote to the argument. They're the antidote to all of this that we're surrounded by, all of this that we experience. They may not be the answer. There is no answer. There is only the ever deepening. And by to arrive at the door, at the garden of humility and tenderness. These two qualities go hand in hand, because you can't really know the truth of humility until some tenderness has happened. By tenderness, really I mean softening. Softening itself, tenderness itself has humility embedded in it. And humility itself has tenderness embedded in it. In many ways, they're just the same thing. But humility is a fall into grace from the self-important ego that, pumps itself up in some kind of way. And it is the great balm to that. It is the great healing to that. And it's not easy. And many people don't get access to humility because, something has to break. Something has to break open for humility to happen. You can't make humility happen. It's like surrender. It's the same exact thing in so many ways. You cannot make surrender happen. All you can do is be willing to let go of things, of something. And in the same way of humility, it might take something to break within you to know humility. And so at first it can be it can feel terrible. At first it can feel like almost death in the moment that humility is happening, or, the humiliation becomes the doorway to humility. But you don't make that happen. You just stay where you are as something deep or rich or true or, intense is happening. It takes courage to even get to the door where humility might happen. These are very deep and very tender things, qualities, moments, experiences. And the tendency of the mind always to jump to stories or jump to defense or jump to some kind of strategy to avoid the black hole as it perceives the black hole of humility, which it perceives as humiliation. You see, the self says, this is not humility we're going towards. This is humiliation. And we don't want to go there. Of course we don't want to go there. So it doesn't even entertain the possibility that it could not be humiliation, but actually could be humility. So we have a problem there. Tenderness, slightly easier in many ways, because we know tenderness. We can feel tenderness. We can see a little puppy or a tiny child or a sweet innocent flower somewhere, or a little fawn, or, you know, all of these kind of things. And it brings out the in us. It brings out something in us. And they're the superficial versions of tenderness. True tenderness, you know, has no self in it. True tenderness is a kind, the deepest kind of sense that of love, of empathy without being empathetic. Tenderness has allowed the heart to get involved in the, you know, the tending to, the being aware of. It's like compassion. It's like a living compassion. And the tenderness I'm talking about is a tenderness to life, whether it's the inner life or the outer life. It's not a doing thing. It's a quality. These are all just qualities. They're not things that we do. You can't do anything with humility. It just is. It's either, you know, falling into your cellular being. And the same with tenderness. It's either falling into your cellular being, softness, openness, gentleness, kindness. These are not just things that we do, because as long as there's a, you know, a self that's invested in it, it has no real depth to it, has no true vibration to it. And this that is being spoken of has a true vibrational field about it. Humility is the essence of the spiritual journey, as far as I'm concerned. Humility is the depth. It's the grail. It's not weak. There's no weakness in humility. There's just a softness, an awareness, a care, to care for others, to care for all beings. And it's sort of absent. And of course it's absent in the political world, and it's absent in the usual world. But funnily enough, you find it's actually absent in the spiritual world as well. That brings a great sadness to me, because I would have thought that the spiritual world, you know, not all of it, of course, but a lot of the non-dual world is not interested in humility. It's too busy in defining what non-duality is, the consciousness that is all, is whole and complete unto itself. But it doesn't want us to sort of talk about the very human, divine element of our experience, which is the bridge between our consciousness and our humanity, which is humility, in this way anyway. But people don't want to talk about it, and on social media and, you know, all of that kind of stuff, you don't see humility. You barely see compassion. You know, some people are very kind. People are very kind, of course, but there's a lot that aren't in the spiritual world. And I just, you know, it's like, don't let that worry you. Don't let that put you off this deepest tenderization. You know, to become tender is to become true. To become tender and humble is to become essentially a true and authentic and honest human being who's not preoccupied and obsessed with their view of the world or their opinion about spirituality or their view against somebody else's view. There's no question that you think you've got it right. There's none of that. Everything is a view of the world. Everything is a view of reality as we perceive it. And so to be able to see that one view is like this and another view is like that and this person has that, you know, architecture to look through, that we're all looking through a very filtered lens. And somehow humility allows that filtering to be okay, to be different. And it's not tightly held onto it. Opinions come, opinions go. My opinion is worthless, except as a sort of, you know, delicate offering into the world. Somebody else's opinion is equally worthless. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. Our opinions don't matter. What really matters in this context, for this conversation, to this human being, is the capacity that we have to meet each other in the field of humility, in the field of tenderness, and to meet each other in that grassy field, and to be genuinely, truthfully kind with each other, and to listen to each other from the openness of our being. Maybe then something heals, because I'm only really interested in that healing. You know, I'm not interested in the pontification of what is or what isn't. So I hope I've kind of opened up the door to this conversation about humility and tenderness. I know I keep talking about it, but honestly, I don't see anything other than that is really worthwhile talking about. Bless you.